Great day, everybody. So today I'm going to be going through the Age Lead Success Formula, what we've been doing with agents, how we've been helping each of our agents grow, continue to hit 40K months. For those of you all who don't know, my name is Trey. I own a company called Agent Lead Lab. We've helped over 550 agents issue pay $40,000 per month in the past 3.5 years. And our goal is to help life insurance agents continue to scale and hit 40K months consistently, regardless of the lead type that you work, how to make you profitable, and then how for you to potentially partner up with us for us to grow your agency and scale you to $1 million a month. So let's go ahead and hop straight into the video. As always, if you do like our content, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. All right, let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about who is this for? And the subtitle of this would be, how to work age leads for success. I'm gonna go ahead and blow this up a little bit so everybody can see. Okay, cool. By the way, I like doing these videos because I'm able to really just kind of let you all know into my thoughts. I write these things down as our clients have questions and people ask, like, how are you all able to consistently help agents make 30, 40, $50,000 a month? So it's kind of like to walk people through a blueprint because at the end of the day, you can have all the AI stuff, you can have all the fancy things, but it's very simple, right? You're selling life insurance to a specific demographic. You choose your demographic, you figure out how to work them, and you make sure that they do not charge back to the best of your ability. You cannot completely control that. But understanding what lead type to work and where you're at is also super critical. It's not just a matter of, hey, I want the best leads ever. You need to figure out what lead type you're currently should be working to improve your skill set to gradually learn. Otherwise, you can completely just burn yourself out if you stay on one lead type and you never progress, or you just hop into a super advanced lead type and you never actually get your feet off the ground because you have to spend a lot of money to get those clients. So Age Lead Success Formula is for newer agents and for agents who are looking to supplement with the reps. 1 second. I always forget to do that when I'm doing this, setting up Discord notifications. But anyways, so this is for newer agents and agents who are supplementing for reps or need just additional volume. So when I say newer agents, I don't necessarily mean somebody brand new. I mean somebody who's making less than $10,000, right? And I've said this in other videos. This is such an important benchmark because so many people are like, oh man, like I want to make 30, 40K a month. I'm like, okay, cool. I've made 10. They're like, no, well, it's the leads. And I'm like, no. You have it mistaken. You do not have the skill set. Making $10,000 a month in the life insurance space is not a very difficult thing, but it just requires an immense amount of like grit and hustle, just transparently. Yes, could you learn how to do an annuity and sell one for more than 10K? 100%. Could you learn how to maybe do an IUL and find a big case? Yes, but that's very far and few between people start there. Most people start with final expense or vets or maybe even a little lower end mortgage protection. And making 10K is just a matter of calling enough people and getting enough reps. What's the best way to call enough people and get enough reps? Age leads. People tend to like trash age leads, which I don't know why. Because if you're telling an agent that they come in, they need to just hop into this high intent funnel. To me, you've never actually been an agent. You don't actually know or actually even care about the people that you're serving, because the reality is those same agents who you want to hop in this funnel or pay whatever, like they don't have the money to fund it properly. So what ends up happening is you have people with all this fancy stuff with no leads. And then if you don't have leads, you can't make money. And now they've wasted their money on the AI and all this cool stuff, which doesn't really matter. If I give you names and numbers, you grab your cell phone, you buy a simple burner app or whatever it may be, and you call people off a Google Sheet, you can work your way to 10K. And when you get to 10K consistently, then you can start transitioning. But when I say newer age, doesn't mean anybody making less than $10,000, you should be working age leads. And somebody's telling you that fresh leads are going to solve your problem, they're lying to you. They're lying to you, right? It's not that you can't get, but it's like, why would you spend, let's call it, some fresh leads start at typically anywhere between $500 a week on the low end, right? So if you're spending $500 a week, that's $2,000 a month to make 10. Now, what's more realistic? Now, most of the time we know in the life insurance space, 10K is not really 10K. Like it's not $10,000 like hitting your bank account. Like, oh, I put it in two, I made 10. Like in normal business, that'd be a great trade-off. In life insurance, that's not how it works. If we're talking about $10,000 in annual premium, even if you're saying $10,000 in issue paid commissions, you get 2 or 3 policies that charge back, which is probably going to happen in your first few months and you're learning. And if you're not making more than 10K right now, you can write good business, but you probably have a few that charge back. Like let's just call a spade a spade. That 2K is difficult for people to do. If that was the case and everybody would buy fresh leads, they'd spend $2,000 and it'd work. And that's just not, it's not going to happen. You spend $500. In most cases, let's say you do final expense, you're going to get like 25 leads, 20 leads, depending on the company that you go with. You mean to tell me that if I give you 80 leads and you're brand new, you're just going to absolutely smash out the park? No, you're not going to be that good. I'm just being honest. You are not going to be that good. Even when you go in the high ticket coaching space, you're not going to be that good. If I give you 80 leads and you don't know what you're doing, everybody's not going to pick up. Everybody's not going to book an appointment. So then it gets you down to, XYZ number of opportunities. Can you make it happen? Most people can't, and that's okay. So if you are a new agent, you're making less than 10K, you need to watch this video to its entirety. If you're an agent and you're trying to supplement with your high intent, this will also benefit you because the success formula does not change. It doesn't necessarily matter where you're at or what you're doing. It just matters that you do the formula because this is input output. It's very simple. So let's talk about lead types. There's vets, and excuse me, y'all. It's I get like a seasonal cold every year. It just kind of cranked up. So if you guys hear that over the next few days as I'm recording this, just know that's why. So you got vets, final expense, IUL, mortgage. Let's keep it super simple. Vets and final expense are essentially the same thing, right? They're going to be 40 to 85 plus, and they're going to be people that are looking for final expense. The difference is one is targeting a demographic, the other one is just everybody. So final expense for everybody, veteran final expenses for vets. Now there's like vet IULs and all this other stuff, and like that's cool once again, but like I'm just a simple guy. Just keep it simple, keep it basic. Let's just keep the ball rolling. So demographics are super important for expectations. Now, when you talk about lead types, understand that with vets and final expense, there's a lot of opportunity, but respectfully, you're replacing people's policies, right? So it's not like you're coming in and you're like, oh, I just never have talked to anybody. Like these vets and these final expense people, they're filling out so many forms. It's funny. I have a screenshot I'm going to be sharing with our partners on Wednesday. As we continue to scale, I noticed this trend. And we have so many campaigns running now that we have some people that are doing like regular Facebook forms, which I don't love. And then we have landing page. And you can see literally timestamps between somebody filling out a Facebook form and somebody filling out a landing page, right? It's like a literal timestamp of 5 minutes to show you that like this never happens with mortgage protection. It doesn't happen with IUL like that. You have these people, it will here and there, like very sparingly, but it happens very, very frequently. It's funny because understanding the demographic that you're targeting before you get on the call is also super important. Like mindful, we haven't even got to expectations, sales, anything like that. We're just talking about lead types. When you're calling aged vets or final expense, the reason why people really like them is because you can replace policies that are poorly written, right? People's policies may have lapsed, their situation has changed, and these people are readily available. So like they're gonna pick up the phone, you're gonna have conversations, and it's just a matter of skill at that point. If it's ethical for you to do that, like it's not up to me to let you all know, like that's your personal prerogative and decision, depending on how you structure it. If you're trying to undercut somebody's price, but you're actually going to be giving them more value, and the agent that they're working with genuinely did not do a good job, I understand that. If you're just undercutting people to undercut people, I mean, karma's a real thing. That's just kind of how I can explain it. That's the same thing, right? That demographic, 50 to 85, like they're scrolling on their phone, they're available, and a lead is a lead is a lead to them. I don't really there's a difference, obviously, in like fresher leads for vets and final expense, but like if you're doing vets and final expense, it's pretty straightforward. Like that demographic is going to fill out forms. They're going to fill out a lot of stuff. They're going to see ads. If they get you signed up today, it doesn't matter. They're still going to fill out somebody else's ads. So like that's why the chargebacks are rampant. Like a lot of people think it's like, oh, just because they're broke. Yes, relatively speaking, but a lot of times, even if you place the policies right, you still have chargebacks, right? So it's a good beginning point for agents. Okay, now if you move into IUL, to me, age IUL and age mortgage protection are like gems. Now, I'll say that mortgage protection less of a gem than IUL for this one reason. That age mortgage, remember, if you're dealing with a homeowner who's already gotten life insurance put in place specifically for their mortgage, like it's already in place. So when you call them, it's like I already have it. And you can find, like most of the times with the age mortgage, you're going to find more people who just never got in contact with somebody, or an agent, this is what makes them really good, could not understand how to put them in equity protection. And that's a very real thing. Outside of that, though, it's a lot of I already got it taken care of. Now, IUL, or I don't even want to say age annuity leads, we don't sell those. And they're not like super popular, but let's call it general life, IUL, like tax-free retirement type of lead that's age is going to be your absolute gold mine. Okay. Because the client is interested in finding ways to leverage life insurance for retirement options. Let's understand that concept first. What does that really mean? It's like, okay, if I'm filling out a form and I get something put in place or I don't get something put in place, it's not a, I have this already, leave me alone. It's a, oh, can I add more? I have more income. Can I put more in? So there's not a lot of like policy replacements with advanced market IUL general life. It's a lot of stacking, which is good because it means that there's less friction on the front end. Because they're open to having a conversation of like, oh, can I continue to grow my retirement? I can invest more. Like that's an ongoing thing, which is why as age IULs, like people are like, why are these so good? I'm like, dude, it's just psychology. A lot of things in the life insurance space, I think we try to overcomplicate and we just have to keep it super simple. Like if you think about demographics and their behaviors and the concept that comes with these forms of life insurance, rather than trying to like put these lead types into specific categories and saying like, you know, creating kind of like this narrative, it hinders us rather than helping us. So when you're talking about an IUL or somebody interested in tax-free retirement, it's an evergreen opportunity, no matter if it's a day old, fresh, 20 days old, or a year old, because people are always looking for more ways to grow their money. That it's like almost like B2B. Like you could call somebody from B2B from 2 years ago. If they were interested in a product or service, you could probably still get them if they didn't get it put in place, or if they tried something that didn't work, or if they came across more money, or if they like there's it's just more conversation. And like that's why the formula is super important, because you can get crazy returns on this, right? Like the AP is going to be exactly the same. The target premium will be exactly the same as a fresh lead, but it's half the price, but you have to put the work in, right? So let's go into the next thing, which is expectations. So I get this all the time, like how many leads should I buy now? We make 100 minimum, right? And I want to explain why, because you work on laws of hundreds, right? And the way that you do in the life insurance space, which is really simple, is like if I get 100 leads, you should expect with age leads to close anywhere between 1 to 4 leads. Now you're like, whoa, that's a pretty big gap. It is, because there are a lot of factors. If you just work hard, you will close at least one. If you just actually work the leads properly, you will make your money back and some. And you can keep doing that over and over and over again, which is why I like age leads for people that are making less than 10K, because all you have to do is just put work in. Like you're going to stumble across a deal. Somebody missed, somebody didn't pick up the phone back in the past, somebody didn't work them. You're going to close something. Okay. 2 to 4 is purely based off of skill. It's not like how you work the lead. You got to work all the leads the same, right? So then the next thing is like, how should I close? So with age leads, depending on the lead type that you're working, right? Going back through them, if you're working vet and final expenses, a lot of policy replacements. Genuinely, it is. It's not. I mean, you'll run across some people like, oh, I've never talked to somebody. Most of these people talk to somebody. IUL, you're stacking. So it's really about figuring out what their budget is and then allocating the specific towards their budget for whatever it is. You can replace policies, but it's not as prominent. Mortgage protection is typically just learning how to close people on equity because another agent couldn't do it. And that's a real thing. Like the mortgage is the hidden gem to have like super sticky business in regards to like, if you get somebody, you're going to have a very good conversation and like they're probably going to go through. So you're going to smack age mortgage out the park because an agent didn't explain it to them properly. Same thing with IUL sometimes, but vet and filing expenses is like super straightforward. So when you go to close, you need to like, before you work age IUL or age mortgage protection, you need to really know how to like help them grow their money tax free and how to put them into the right policy and how to protect the equity in their home, right? Like if you don't know how to do that, just stick with vets and final expense because you're going to run into problems. Like most of these people that will pick up the phone and talk to you have been talked to by another agent. They either want to stack it, they're doing IUL advanced market tax free, or they want to figure out how to protect their equity because they're older and they can't do it, which means that you're going to get crazy premiums on either, but it requires an immense level of you investing into your skill set, right? So you move into reinvestment. This is reinvestment in yourself. So if you're an agent, how frequently do you buy? And what I call age lead tempo. So when I talk about how frequently you buy, my recommendation is that you buy age leads at minimum 2 times a week. Now, if you're a dog and you're working 3 times, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, meaning that you buy on Monday, you work the leads all day Monday, or you buy on Sunday, and get your leads Monday, work your leads all day Monday, all day Tuesday, pay for your next order by Tuesday, have them by Wednesday, work all day Wednesday, all day Thursday, pay for your next order by Thursday, work on Friday, work all day Friday, and then a little bit into Saturday morning and take Sundays off, right? That's like high frequency. Regular frequency would be 2 times a week, right? So you'd buy on Sunday and then you'd buy again on Tuesday evening. So you'd work Monday, Tuesday, and then you'd work Wednesday. Yeah, then you work Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday you would like just go through everybody, right? Like that's a if you like taking Saturday and Sunday off, which I don't highly recommend if you're working a lot of aged leads and you're making less than 10K. Like you should work on Saturdays. It just doesn't make sense to me. The next thing is tempo. So the tempo is how aggressive you want to be with your reinvestment. For example, if you're buying 100 leads in those 3 days, or you're buying 100 leads in those 2 days, the tempo means how many more leads can you buy to keep up with that to increase your ROI. But you need other technology. So you're going to need like a CRM for this. You're going to need a dialer, right? That determines the tempo, how many leads you can buy, how frequently you can buy them. For example, if I'm buying 100 leads, I can work 100 Monday, Tuesday. I can work another 100 Wednesday, Thursday. I can work another 100 Thursday, Friday. Or I could do the same thing if I'm buying twice. If I have a CRM and a dialer, I can probably buy 200 and do the same thing because my dialer is going to get through, which means that if I'm closing, let's call it 2 deals for every 100 leads I buy, that means I'm closing 2 deals on Monday, 2 deals on Tuesday because I have 200 leads. I'm closing 2 deals on Wednesday, 2 deals on Thursday, I'm closing 2 deals on Friday. That's 5 days times 2, that's 10 policies, right? Average annual premium, depending on the lead type, that's 10K times 4. Like, these are the little things that we tell our agents. It's not rocket science, y'all. Like you got to invest frequently enough. You got to have the right tempo. If you have a dialer or a CRM, you can buy more leads, work them quicker, and get a quicker ROI. If you're hand dialing, you can't, which would be why, like, okay, if I'm you, I'm like, okay, going into scaling. So let's go to the next thing. Now, and I should write this in here. It's not even when to jump to fresh leads. It's like when to reinvest in tech, right? This is super important for aged leads. This goes back into here, but the scaling part is in alignment. So what I think is like you do your first month to me, it's very important for you to get the reps of like hand dialing. Like I'm a firm believer in callousing, right? Like you need to become calloused in the process to understand what other agents are going through. Because if you bring an agent in and they can't afford to do these things, if you can't speak to their situation, you're kind of like, I'm not gonna say you're a hypocrite, but it's hard for you to help an agent get out of their situation if you've never like been in their situation. You're like, oh yeah. So you need to do this. And you're like, well, have you ever done it? Like, no. It's like, okay, well, slow your roll, buddy. You know? So at least if you could do it for a few weeks or a month, I would say, get your first 10K. And then if you want, I would reinvest. You don't have to jump. Like, here's the thing. To me, right? And that's investing in tech. So let's say you get the 10K on the handout and you're like, all right, cool. I can push this to 20, 30K, which I have agents who write 20, 30K off of age leads. I have agents who write 40K off of age leads because they just do what I said above, right? They buy enough age leads frequently enough. They have the right tempo and they have a dialer and they just crush, right? Now, is it the best way to scale, which we'll talk about in a second? No. So this is going into when to jump to fresh leads. Now, to me, there's really only 2 reasons you should ever go to fresh leads, okay? So you want your time back, right? And you're a solo agent who just wants to make money. And I have tons of these, okay? Or, right, you want your time back to grow an agency. Because what happens is you're going to spend more money, right? But you're spending more money to get your time back. So if now, instead of you having to dial 12 hours or be on the burner for 12 hours to make 2 or 3 sales, you just only have to dial for like 5 hours. You call, book your appointments, close them in the evening. Then through the day, when people aren't working, because you're probably going to be working mortgage or IUL, you're not going to really be doing, you can do fresh filing expense, maybe like transfers and stuff, but you're getting your time back. Because at that point, you're just saying like, I don't want to sit here and dial all day because I have more important things to do than dial. I want to bring in new agents. I want to recruit. I want to post on social media. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to talk to my team, hire staff. Like now the time is like, oh, okay, I need to grow. So you need to start investing in fresher leads because you need your time back to then put your time into other things rather than dialing all day. Because you can't dial all day and build a team. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. At some point, you got to give one another. Unless you're the agent who just wants to make money, right? And then if you scale, all you have to do is reinvest back into tech, and you'll make your money back and some. If you're trying to grow your agency, though, then what you need to do is buy fresh leads. You're going to spend more money, right? You're going to probably make the same amount if you're doing it properly, right? Because the person who's buying their time back, it's like, okay, I could probably make 30, 40K off these agent leads because I'm really good, but it's like, I don't want to dial all day. So you're like, okay, all right, let's go get fresh leads. Let's spend, $1,000, $2,000 a week, get the best leads ever, work them, make the same amount of money. Maybe it costs me an extra 3, 4, 5 grand, but I'm saving, 5 hours a day. And that's drastic because 5 times 5, let's call it, see, we're 6 days a week. That's 30 hours a week times 4, right? 30 times 4, that's 120 hours a month that you're getting back just by basically spending $5,000 on $5,000 more dollars, I'm sorry, on leads. So like that's how I would look at it if you're trying to scale and the formula for you has already worked, because you want to have, like, the way we do with our clients is, all right, we'll take you from 0 to 10K. That's great. Then we take you from 10 to 40K. That's also great. Then the question is like, do you want to stay there? It's like, cool, keep buying high intent leads. Or do you want to transition into like ownership and building your own backend infrastructure, internal lead system, hiring team, hiring staff, doing recruiting? Then like, now it's like, okay, you can buy fresh leads, but what would be better than buying fresh leads by like creating a system where like leads book onto your calendar, you know what's going on. You have to spend way less time. You have an increased sales percentage of 20%. Like that's the best time to do it because your reinvestment is buying your time back. And that's the progression. Now, if you don't care and you're just like, I just want to make 10K or I just want to get to 40 and I'm not trying to build a team, then just stop there. Like you don't have to keep going. But I think it's important for you to have options. And most agents don't even know what's really out there because nobody actually explains to them how to make it, because everybody's just on this hamster wheel. They make money, they get chargebacks, they try to build a team to avoid the chargebacks. They don't have to keep selling because they don't want to keep selling. They don't like the demographic. They know that there's chargeback, try to pad themselves to build the team so they don't have to get, like, it's this endless race in their mind when it's like, okay, if you just create a system for each person or for your blueprint and then you just gave it to your agents, the most profitable agencies, that's what they do. They just follow a system because they treat it like a business, not like a 1099 sales rep with their head cut off. So you need to know that. And this is the success formula, right? You got to figure out what type of agent you are. You got to determine what type of lead type you want to do. Do you want to do policy replacement? Are you going to invest in your skills to learn how to close people for IUL and learn, actually show them through IUL or whole life? My bad, disclaimer for people that love whole life or tax-free retirement. I'm not here to say what's better or what's not. Advanced market. Or do you want to learn how to do equity protection? Either they all have their inherent benefits, right? Vet filing expense, quicker, right? Straightforward. Going to make money really fast, right? IUL or whole life or advanced market, a little bit of a longer game to learn the skill, much higher ROI, like significantly higher lower cost to acquire a client, but extremely high ROI, right? Mortgage protection, relatively the same, kind of that middle ground. Still have to invest in the leads. Expectations, at least buy 100. How frequently should you buy them, right? We talk about that. Age, lead, tempo, you being able to reinvest to get a CRM to then close leads quicker, which just increases your tempo at which you make money. That's it, right? And then scaling, when to invest. If you're making less than 10K within those first 30 days, once you get past that, you can invest in technology. It's good for you to get callous so you can speak if you do decide to grow an agency. If not, once again, it doesn't matter. You can close some deals and be like, I just want a CRM. I'm ready to roll. And a dialer. And then knowing when to actually invest into the fresh leads, whether you're a new agent or you're an agent who just wants to be solo, you have no desire to build a team, or you're an agent that's trying to grow an agency. At some point, you have to get your time back and actually spend the money to get time back so you can use your time to do other things. So as always, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, and I hope this was helpful.